Morning to you, Senator.
Good morning, everyone.
What's your reaction to this? And are we going to see this in other police departments around the country?
Well, Ainsley, I certainly hope not, because if you see police chiefs retiring or you see police officers retiring early, if you see liberals cutting police budgets by defunding the police, or just the general disrespect for the police, you're going to see more of what we saw in Chicago the other night. Anarchists and rioters in the street, destroying property, risking lives. Unfortunately, we've seen that in so many cities all around the country this summer, whether it's Washington, New York, Chicago, Portland, Seattle. One consistent thing we've seen, though, is all these liberal mayors and governors think that they can reason with these rioters and these insurrectionists. But in the end, it's not enough, because they want more and more and more. They demand that the police be defunded, and they demand that they continue to pull back from our cities. And if that happens, all you get is more violence and more crime, and the victims are innocent citizens.
Yeah, and you give them an inch, they take a mile. And Senator, when you look at what Chief Best out in Seattle was doing, she simply wanted to enforce the law. If people break the law, if people burn something down, I'm going to arrest them. But the people, or at least somebody, was impacting her and impressing upon her, you can't do it like that right now. Times have changed. Senator, times have changed.
Yeah, a lot of these liberal politicians live in fantasy land, and these police chiefs and their police officers are simply trying to enforce the law and explain to them, if you defund the police, if you tell the police to pull back from certain neighborhoods, if you just disrespect law enforcement in general, you're going to get more crime. You are not going to appease rioters in the street, and unfortunately, that's what we're continuing to see in so many of our cities.
Yeah, and by the way, think about Joe Biden's staffers. They gave money to a fund to help bail out would-be accused criminals who are charged of one charge of sexual assault and other ones of stabbing a friend in the Minneapolis melee. So not only is Joe Biden really not speaking out, not saying much, more Democratic mayors falling flat on their face in times of peril, but his staffers are giving to a bailout fund. That's inexcusable. But let's talk about who could be running with the vice president. You believe that Susan Rice, Kamala Harris, Karen Bass, they're all finalists. Elizabeth Warren is a finalist. You have the governor of Michigan is a finalist. Would Susan Rice trouble you?
Well, Brian, Susan Rice was the typhoid Mary of the Obama administration foreign policy. Every major debacle in President Obama's tenure, Susan Rice was right in the middle of. Like, look at China. She consistently counseled appeasement towards China. She commanded that our military leaders in the Pacific not raise China's efforts to militarize the South China Sea and create bases out of rocks in the water to extend the range of their planes and their missiles. She was right in the middle of the Iran nuclear deal. She counseled appeasement of Russia going into the 2016 election. And then after the election, she was at the center of spying on the Trump campaign and unmasking American citizens who had been caught up in that dragnet. Most nominees face the jury of the American people. Susan Rice would be the first one to potentially face a grand jury as well.
You wrote this op-ed on foxnews.com if folks want to go and read it, but the title is "China's Sanctions Won't Affect Me Much, but We'll Never Stop Fighting for CCP's Victims." So China, we sanction China, individuals in China, 11 Americans are sanctioned by China, and you are one of them. Why did you write this op-ed, and what's the message?
Yeah, Ainsley, I guess since China sanctioned me yesterday, I will have to cancel my long-planned second honeymoon in Wuhan.
Right.
But in the end, China is not coming for me. I'm just in the way. I'm in the way of all the people I defend, whether it's the millions of Americans who have died or gotten sick or lost their job because of the Wuhan coronavirus, or the millions of factory workers whose jobs have been sent to China, or the millions of Chinese people, whether they're Hong Kongers or Tibetans or Uyghurs in northwest China, who are facing a high-tech communist tyranny. China is sanctioning me because I am standing up to that communist tyranny. And if Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party think what I've done so far warrants a sanction, let me just say they ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, there you go. A warning. Thank you very much, Senator Tom Cotton, for joining us today from your location. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 8:20 here.